And I'm celebrating turning 40. At one time, I had a belief that I'll never reach even 35 because most of my friends who I started music with, they passed away before they even reached 30.
Okay.
So I was even scared. I ended up with the belief that I was never going to reach even 30. So when I reached 40, when I was about to approach 40, I just thought, no, I need to celebrate. So this is a celebration, yeah.
Of that 40 years, how many years have been in the music industry?
22 years, since 1988. Professionally, 22 years, but in the business, or in the, what can I call it? We can't call it business, but as a talent, I was born with the talent.
Okay. As a business, it's 22 years.
Yeah, 22 years.
Okay. So, 22 years, how have been there like for you, and what have been your experiences for the past 22 years?
There have been a lot of ups and downs. You know, in music, just like any other art, like just like in acting or anything else, there's a certain percentage of rejection. There's a certain percentage of winning. So a certain percent of appreciation. So there's rejection in appreciation. So I've learned to not to over celebrate when I make it, and never to over believe myself when things don't go well. So I've had a lot of experiences here.
Okay, fine. Looking at the groups that you have played in, if you can just the highlights of the people that you have performed with. So okay, fine. 22 years. The most memorable groups or musicians that you have worked with over the years.
I've worked with a lot of artists, and I have no doubt that I'm the most recorded guitarist in the country, because I'm featured on more than 400 albums.
Albums?
Yeah, more than 400 albums.
Not songs, but albums.
Yeah, albums. So songs, we can't count the songs.
Okay.
If you check most sleeves in record shops, my name is littered all around.
Okay.
But most of the time, people don't know it's me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but because the groups, when they go and perform live, they use their own musicians.
Okay, exactly.
And then they copy what I played in the studio. So you can't tell, because I played for Celebration Choir, my Ndere Brothers, Oliver Mtukudzi, Somanda Ndebele, Fungisai, from the time she even started. I've played for a lot of groups, but the highlights, I enjoyed a lot the time when I worked with Oliver, because that was a graduation, because we toured the world. And I also later worked with Choni, so just on tours. We did 2 European tours, and I loved that experience.
Okay.
As I always say, there are very few groups that I really, really enjoyed playing with. Some of the groups, but there are some groups that when I played with them, every time I get off on stage, I feel like I'm a king.
Okay.
But as a musician, Panama groups, so if you play with, you get off stage depressed, you feel like you're going to commit suicide. But
that was quite interesting. Now, from the last time that we talked, it was in 2008, if I remember pretty well.
Yeah.
You're still cooking a couple of numbers. Looking at this particular album here, how long did you take to come up with this album?
It's 1 year and some months. I don't remember how many months it is. This album and these are the albums that I really took my time to do. So I think even the quality speaks for itself. Yeah.
Well, why did you take so much time for the last 2 albums? What is it that really said, okay, fine, look, don't rush, just take your time?
I looked at my previous projects. I won't name which one and which one, but there are some of my projects which I didn't really like well. Because every time after release, you listen to the radio, you think I should have done this way, I should have done that part that way.
Okay.
And I've been working with a lot of artists from other countries, from as far as DRC, Zambia, Malawi, and I've noticed that when they do their recordings, they don't rush. Usually, most international artists, they never take any time below 5 months to do an album.
Okay.
So I just thought maybe let me try and see how it works, and I did it on Zwai Chamber. And for the first time, it was the album that I never got such a breakthrough and such a good response for all my albums. So I just made it a policy with I won't do any other recording of my own and take less than a year. Because I really need to sit down and work out and see who I can feature on this song, how I'm going to write this song, how I'm going to put my guitar.
Okay.
Since I'm more of a guitarist than anything else.
Okay.
So I need to shine, you see.
Okay, Mukundu, the need to shine. Speaking of the artist that he worked with from the likes of the DRC, song track number 2, Makorokota, featuring Faith December, Kapia Mwenda, Richard Kalomba, and Kandolo. These are all from DRC except for Faith. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what type of music is this that we're about to play for you? Looking that it's from DRC, is it some rumba?
It's not 100% rumba. It's a style of rumba they call chachu.
Okay.
So we fused that chachu with some jazz.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a listen to the track Makorokoto, Mukundu, the album 40. The number of guys from DRC on the particular project. But let's get number foreigners that you've worked with. I know I've worked with Stanford Tembo. Yeah. And he recently got an amazing deal from Universal Records because of the album that you produced for him, the one that has the song Nyazerudo. That's the album Turi Tubiri.
Yeah,
Tubantu. Yeah. So now, how is it like working with these guys from other countries?
The biggest challenge with some artists, special artists from DRC, some of them, they don't speak English.
Okay.
So they normally speak French. So at times they have interpreters. At times you have to use hand signs. At times because they'll be speaking in tongues. So yeah, that's the biggest challenge. And then there are also some music terms which they use in their countries which we don't use here.
Okay.
Like that come that rumba drum. They call it seben. So some of them they just expect you to know some of the terms. So I think before you start a recording session, you just need to discuss some music terms and some other teachers, and then you're good to go. Okay.
So now, looking at the music that you've produced for these guys for their countries, besides Stanford Tembo, how are they faring in these countries? The music that you produce here, they take it to DRC, they take it to Zambia. How are they doing in terms of success?
They're doing very well. Because in Zambia so far I've recorded about 6 to 7 artists. The likes of Chris Aka is a reggae artist. I also recorded Cactus is a dancehall artist. He's sometimes featured on Channel O. And I've recorded Mau Mwale, she's young sister to Anna Mwale. I've also recorded Stanford Tembo. I've recorded Jane Zangi Osborne. She's got a song which is popular in Zimbabwe that Tiende Pamozi.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then from Malawi, I recorded Joseph Tembo. There's another artist called Joseph Tembo. He's one of the biggest artists in Zambia. Then DRC, I recorded Wele Pelo. And then this group with Kondolo Kungwala, I forgot to write down the name of their group. It's a tongue twister. It's difficult to to pronounce. Yeah, and then I also worked with some South African artists, but most of the South African artists, I worked with them in their country.
Okay, you go and play with them then.
I go and play with them. Because in South Africa, they mostly have keyboardists. They don't have many guitarists.
Okay.
So most of their guitarists, the top guitarists are foreigners.
So now, having worked with these guys, does that reflect in your music when you play for them, when you produce for them, when you feature in their music? Does that reflect in this album in particular, or the last 2 albums that you say, okay, fine, you're quite satisfied with? The music that tends to come out of you from Mono's own projects?
Yeah, it reflects, but I monolize it. You see, because what I don't want is to sound like somebody. Because most artists have got a problem with if he works with Chimbetu, if he does his own album, it sounds exactly like Chimbetu. But the good thing with me is I've worked with a lot of artists, rumba artists, sungura artists, jazz artists, rock artists, everything. So it's up to me to decide which style I want to use. So I've just decided to use that Mbira style fused with jazz and other styles, because that's my favorite type of music.
Okay, fine. And speaking of that, what can you call your music? Don't tell me that it's monoleo music. what exactly do you call
it? The same type of music. Thomas Mapfumo, Oliver Mtukudzi, Bondo Boys, the same type of music they play. It's only that I do it my own way. So some call it Mbira music, some call it Chimurenga music. I don't know. It all depends. You know, Zimbabweans, we all have, we all want to come up with brand names, but I think we tend to confuse our audiences at times. So I don't know whether we can call it Mbira music, I don't know whether we can call it Chimurenga, what, but mine is that Zimbabwean music, but with a fusion of jazz, with a fusion of blues, with a fusion of other styles. But it's basically Zimbabwean.
Zimbabwean music it is. Let's go for a commercial break, and when we return, we'll continue to talk with Mono.
With him. Last album I played with Lun Klanga. This album I played with Andy Brown, so it's both.
You're not good.
Yeah,
You're not
I'm
good.
okay, yeah, I'm
Two
okay.
of the top guitarists in Zimbabwe. But I'm saying when you guys meet, is an ego saying, okay, fine, I can play better than you. No, you can't play better than me.
No, you'll be appreciating what the other can do, which you can't do.
Okay.
Because, he's got some things which he does which I can't do. I've got some things which I do which he can't do.
Exactly.
So we just share ideas in the mix. So there's no ego there.
So there's genuine respect for
genuine respect, yeah.
Okay. Now looking at the young artists that you've worked with, I know that you've worked with Hop, you've worked with Faith, and quite a number of other artists, but those that instantly come into mind. In the past 22 years that you have been in the industry, looking at all this, what impact do you put on such artists, and what type of artists are they?
Usually I put a sense of self-respect, confidence, and appreciation of who you are, where you come from. Because most of the artists that I record, I always tell them there's no way you can become international by trying to copy Akon. There's no way you can become international by trying to copy Beyonce. Because music in the States, music in the Western countries, it's politicized. They never play anything from Africa. So you never make a breakthrough.
Okay.
That way it's so difficult. Because usually people want to compare themselves with Akon. Akon was born in the States. So he's all American. It's just like Obama.
All American.
He's born American to African parents. So that way you're American already. So if you're coming from here and then you say you do R&B and then you want to go to the States, they tell you you've got better R&B artists, some who are not even known. So I always encourage artists to be original, play something that's Zimbabwean. That's Zimbabwean. That's the way to go. That's the only way you can get recognized. Because once you copy somebody, you become a cheaper version of that person. I know a lot of young artists, they want to copy, especially gospel musicians, they want to copy South Africans. But the problem is, if you copy Lundi, if Lundi comes, what do you play on stage? You see? People will start judging you, comparing you to Lundi. So
exactly,
just be yourself, be Zimbabwean. Because I've noticed most youngsters, they try by all means to avoid being Zimbabwean. They would rather be American, South African, or anything else, but never Zimbabwean. But you see, if you go to Jamaica, the youths are the ones who bring new ideas into reggae. If you check the reggae Bob Marley played, the reggae that Sean Paul plays, it's totally different.
Exactly.
If you go to the States, it's the youths who have got new ideas, who bring new ideas into R&B, who bring new ideas into rock. If you listen to the rock yakudara and listen to the new rock yakutuanana,
Nickelback,
it's totally different. Because it's because the youngsters are bringing new ideas into.
But they're building up on the past.
But the problem with the Zimbabwean youths is, instead of bringing new ideas into our music, they forsake our music and take some other forms of music. Like they take American music and then they say we are playing something new. There's nothing new, because it's not new in the States. You've taken somebody's music and you want to make it your own, and then you say you are bringing something new. It's not new, it's somebody's music. And some say, it's the music of the future. Whose future? American future, not our future. Our future is in our own music, in our mbira. That's where the money is. That's why if you check all the artists that made it from Zimbabwe, it's only artists that play authentic Zimbabwean music.
Exactly.
But throughout the years, we've had groups that played rock and roll, that played funk, that played soul, and they said we want to be international. But check who became international. Some artists, some of them was people like
let's not get into names. Mukundu, very emotional about this. I've interviewed a couple of times and I know how passionate he is about staying true to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I'm very Zimbo. I don't know what to call myself.
But there's a young one artist that you've produced. There's a song that I love up to now. We've talked about this artist a couple of times and saying, okay, fine. If you've never seen or heard Mukundu playing the guitar, to his fullest, listen to this next track here. I think that's when, okay, fine. I don't know. I've never seen you in another person's project playing the guitar the way you did on this particular song. Listen to this.
They can relate to, and then after you make it, there's no way you can make it if you.
Then
play.
you can have the collaborations that you did with the likes of Beyonce and Jay-Z's.
And then people start supporting you. Like you were saying, Hope she has already traveled. Takuma Fika has already traveled, but they don't have very, very big names. They are artists who only released the last year, but they're already traveling. Why? Because they are sounding Zimbabwean. So I'm just saying to the youth, stop sounding American, stop sounding like Beyonce, stop sounding like Akon. You are Zimbabwean, make your music Zimbabwean. That's the only way to go. That way you make it. Because right now, if we look at it, there's not even a single artist that I marine music not even one
Arum Zimbabwe.
Let's do our music. Let's be proud of being Zimbabwean.
Exactly. Now looking at the 22 years that you have worked with these artists and grilling, and some have actually listened to you. I'm looking at Hop, Takus, and everyone else, the young artists that have worked with you. Alexio recorded the album that actually I think made his name.
Yeah, because I told him the same thing. I told him, Alexio, you've got a very good voice, very good voice that can go international. But if you cannot force Namari music, because he was just doing that American music. But I don't know that they are not going anywhere. Like I was saying, in America, in the Western countries, their music is so politicized. Their radio stations are so politicized. They will never play anything from Africa. They will never play anything. Also, if you hear them saying somebody is the best in the world, their world is North America, Europe, and Australia. They will never include Africa. They will never include Asia. So there's no way you are going to make it to Chibakunoga and then you dream one day you know Jay-Z,
unless if you do authentic mbira, then you get noticed.
Because do you know Michael Jackson, that Makosa something, he stole it from Manu Dibango.
Okay.
Yeah, Manu Dibango was playing in the States, and all the Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, they were coming to watch Manu Dibango's show. And when we were doing shows with Oliver Mtukos in the States, there were some big American artists, the likes of Bonnie Raitt. She would come to Oliver Mtukos shows, and she also did a cover version of Yemi Lord. Okay. The Oliver Mtukos song. Then how come no one has done a cover version of Zimbabwean R&B song? Because once they hear you play, they can tell you my mistakes, but
they can't tell you my mistakes about true African
music.
Exactly.
Yeah, you see, one got not to my cover versions. Right now, Manu Dibango, he ripped big money because he sued Michael Jackson for using that Makosa rhythm and melodies, and then he was paid huge money.
Just keep quiet.
Yeah, just
to talk too much. All right, let's look at the next coming years for Mukundu. Where are we going as Monolio?
Monolio is going to be a very big name, because right now we are producing very good music, and our artists are doing very well.
Internationally,
most people think to be played on radio, you have to pay DJs and pay bribes. But if you just do good music, it's played.
It's instant, yeah?
It's instant, yeah. You don't have to bribe anybody. You just do good music. And
you get
that's the first support you need. It's from yourself. Just do what the people relate to. Just do good music.
Okay.
So we are doing very well locally. Of course, the music industry is at the moment, but we're just fighting on for the love of the game. And then my plans, I want to die very rich.
You want to what?
I want to die very rich.
For the sake of the young drama that you brought in.
Takakunda, my son, and my daughter Tariro. You see.
Apparently, Takakunda plays the drums.
Yeah, he's a drummer. He's the one who played percussion on this album.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm one of busy trying to lure the kids into the music industry. Mukundu, thank you so much. Mariango is the last song that we're playing. Yeah. What's up with this song? You're always crying about foul play.
Yeah, you see, in Zimbabwe, there's still a number of people who think musicians are Rombe. They don't want to treat us with respect and pay us, you see. So I just want to tell them with that this song
okay. Now if you listen to all the albums that Mona has done, from Super Engage to I think it's from Super. Let's start to talk about this from Super Engage to which the last previous albums was with Chema, and this one he always speaks about ill treatment in this. So he says that he wants to die very rich.
Yeah, because if people can't treat you right, you need to teach them how to treat you. So I'm teaching them to pay us.
Okay, Mukundu, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
All the best
Dumisani.
with the album 40. Mukundu there, album 40. We're playing off with the track Mariangu. Stay with us right here on SFM.